She had spent years crafting the perfect image of our family. Smiling photos on social media, birthday parties with themed decorations, weekend outings that looked flawless to anyone scrolling past. But behind closed doors, I had begun to sense cracks, small inconsistencies, subtle hints, whispers of truths she never shared. It wasn't until our daughter's 7th birthday that the facade truly began to crumble, and I realized just how deep her deception ran. It began months earlier. Late-night messages on her phone, carefully hidden, dates she claimed were for work, yet timing didn't match any recorded schedule. Friends and family often remarked how our daughter resembled her, yet there were features, gestures, expressions that didn't align with my own. I had tried to dismiss it, chalk it up to genetics, childhood imagination. But intuition has a way of gnawing quietly until it demands attention. I decided to act only when I could be certain. A private DNA test was ordered, discreet, professional, and anonymous. I followed all protocols, using a certified laboratory that guaranteed confidentiality. Days later, the results arrived, sealed in a discreet envelope. I tore it open, my hand steady, my mind racing. 0%. Not 1%, not a rounding error, but an absolute, undeniable confirmation. Our daughter was not my biological child. I could have confronted her privately, left the secret to fester in whispered arguments and late-night confessions. But she had spent years lying, manipulating, and presenting an image of a perfect family. An image she intended to maintain even on our daughter's birthday. I realized that the moment for revelation must be deliberate, unavoidable, and symbolic. It had to be at the heart of her curated world. Her child's birthday, surrounded by friends, family, and the fragile pride she had cultivated over years of deceit. The day arrived. Balloons in pink and lavender swayed gently, streamers hung in perfect arcs. A cake glittering with sprinkles and candles awaited the customary singing. Guests mingled, praising her meticulous planning. She smiled, radiant, unaware that the truth was about to pierce the illusion she had so carefully maintained. I waited until she began cutting the cake, her attention focused on our daughter and the assembled guests. Then calmly I stepped forward. I held the envelope sealed, professional, and official. My voice was measured, deliberate, carrying the weight of evidence rather than emotion. "Before we continue," I said, "there's something everyone here needs to see." A hush fell over the room. Eyes turned toward me, curious, tentative. I handed the envelope to her first, letting the paper, and the implication, sink in. Her smile faltered. She glanced at our daughter, then back at me, eyes widening in dawning panic. What is this?" she whispered, voice shaky but still trying to mask fear with indignation. I opened the envelope, displaying the documents for everyone to see. The lab certification, the DNA comparison, the results. 0%. I spoke each word carefully, as though reading scripture, letting the impact resonate. "This test confirms what I have long suspected," I said. "Our daughter is not biologically mine. The truth has been hidden for years, but it cannot be hidden anymore." Gasps rippled through the room. Some guests covered their mouths in shock, others stared wide-eyed at the unfolding revelation. She tried to interject, to explain, to deny, but the physical evidence, official, certified, indisputable, left her with no argument. Her carefully constructed facade, the image of our perfect family, collapsed instantly. I continued, calm, precise. I did not seek to embarrass her or to ruin this day for our daughter. But deceit, when it is hidden so deliberately, cannot be left unchallenged. Every lie she told over these years has consequences. The truth, undeniable and clear, must be acknowledged. Her lips quivered. She turned toward our daughter, who sensed tension but didn't understand its full meaning. Tears began to streak down her cheeks as the guests, previously smiling and cheerful, exchanged awkward glances. Friends she had trusted, colleagues she had invited, now looked at her with a mixture of disbelief and sympathy. Sympathy tempered by the unmistakable reality of betrayal. I watched as she realized the scale of exposure. Social trust, the network of friends and family who had seen her as a devoted mother, a loving wife, a caretaker of an innocent child, each perception fractured. The image she had curated for years lay in ruins, and there was no patching it. She tried to justify, to explain a moment of weakness, a circumstance beyond her control, but the evidence was incontrovertible. 0% left no room for interpretation. Guests began to leave quietly, unable to witness the confrontation without discomfort. Her social standing, her credibility, and the trust she had built over years unraveled in front of everyone she had sought to impress. I did not yell, I did not attack her. I merely stood and let the truth speak. The power of evidence, the absolute clarity of a scientific report, rendered her words ineffective. I had reclaimed the narrative, restoring control over a reality she had manipulated. Later, she left the party, silent, broken, and aware that her deception could never be repaired. Friends who had once looked up to her now kept distance. Family members regarded her with a mixture of disappointment and quiet judgment. And I, standing amid the remnants of what she had tried to present as normal, felt a cold relief. Justice, in this case, was not about revenge in the traditional sense. It was about exposure, truth, and consequences rendered with precision. Our daughter, innocent and oblivious to the technicalities, remained the center of the day. I ensured that her celebration continued, despite the fallout, because she deserved joy untainted by adult deceit. But the lesson was clear. Lies, especially those involving the lives of others, eventually surface. And when they do, they cannot be contained, ignored, or undone. That birthday would be remembered, not for the cake, balloons, or gifts, but as the day the truth emerged, and the woman who had hidden it realized the full weight of her choices.